Hello, hello. We are live here with the Prononic Crow Inquisitors side story with Theo. I realized I had to change the overlays to say Theo instead of Siegfried. We just did a Siegfried mini session, Jared and I, yesterday, and
oh really?
That was interesting. There may have been a living gold meerkat that was the product of that. So he did it. Like, he did the thing. Jared successfully created a living gold entity. An entity made out of gold, but it still lives and breathes like a normal living being. He tested on a meerkat. He has all the tools to do it on David now. And so we'll see what happens next.
Unfortunately, gold isn't very durable, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, right? Like,
it is durable.
It's not. It's malleable is the problem.
Malleable. There we go. That's the word.
If anyone subjected him to any sort of heat, he just melt into puddles.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, if he gets hit or anything, he's not going to get cut. He's just going to get dented. Like, it's probably like the thing to do to defeat him would be hammers, right? Like, just like smash him and dent him.
Yes.
And yeah. But yeah, so yeah, let's look at those. Let's look at the beliefs and instincts. And yeah, feel free to like change these up for the tonight. Whatever you wanna do. Right, because live for good or die with honor and protect the innocent even to death, like, probably won't come up at all.
No.
You know, and so maybe think about, like, let's talk real quick, I guess, about, like, what do you want to do this session? Like, I have some ideas for, priestess sort of things, like, surrounding, the training of being a Fereshteh. But, like, we're not going to, like, play out the entire, training sequence, per se. It's just going to be a montage.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I was thinking, like, I don't really... Okay, wait. What happened between now and back when I like got in that fight with that one dude who was like secretly like a master?
Harver, yeah, the goat guy. Yeah. So that was the situation you had last. Was you went and got beat up by a goat herder. I mean, yeah, you could go try to like get your revenge on him if you wanted.
I mean, not yet, but I'm preparing it.
Right, yeah.
I really just want to beat him up and then just be like, that's what you get. Like, you don't mess with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of don't like Caspian either.
Mm-hmm.
Still, so I just want to, like, increase both my knowledge of the gods so I can use them to give me power to defeat my enemies, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like the one goal. Or wait, what did Fereshteh say to me?
I know. Yeah, you had that conversation, right? You had a real... I think
it was something she wanted me to do. She said, like,
it was
give you what you want. Or something.
Literally, it was, I will give you what you want. Because what did you want exactly? What was the thing that she was promising you? Was it... Because I know that you guys had a conversation about your wife, right? But I don't think it was your wife that you wanted, right? I don't think at the end of the day you didn't ask Fereshteh, bring my wife back to life. Or did you? I don't remember.
I know, I can't remember.
Yeah, I might have to, like, check real quick.
It was either, like, something like, I can get her back, you just have to follow me. And she was like, she helped me like forget her or like let her go kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something like big happened, but I can't remember what.
Yeah, here I probably should have checked beforehand. But let me look this up. So another thing, so do you want to rewrite that first belief then to basically be like something like I won't let that goat herder show me up. I will become better than him and show him what happens when you cross me. Right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, here, let me...
Also, I like my guy preparing for like a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we get in a situation, I want him to be ready. That's kind of like what he always feels like. He's always like, Well, that's what he means, like protect the innocent even death. He wants to be able to be strong enough to protect people if something goes wrong, because he doesn't always trust people because he knows people can be that way. Like he knows, like he's been let down in the past. That's why he only trusts Cantarius, because he knows that in the end he can trust him. Like he wants what's good, and he'll even end his own life if it means doing something like bad. Like if he had no choice between doing something bad or dying, he'd choose probably death. Like I feel like Theo thinks that way. Like that's why he kind of trusts him. Like he wants to do what's good in the end.
So the last thing that happened with Theo, the last thing we saw of him was literally you got beat up by the goat herder. Is that the last thing? I'm pretty sure that was the last thing.
No, that was after. That was I can't remember if because
December 17th was the session where that happened, or sometime before December 17th, whatever. I don't remember when I actually published this, but wasn't it during the holidays? Like you couldn't do anything anyway. So I think this might have been the last session that you were with us, if I remember correctly. Let me double check this. Die to 5. It's so. Yeah, no, that must have been the last thing. Yep.
That was the last thing that happened, and I went back.
Yeah, because we already had the conversation between you and Fereshteh. And so it was literally just you came back from that whole situation and were like talking to Cantarius about something.
Do you know what Fereshteh said then?
I don't know exactly. Let me. Oh, here we go. So we got one name called Prayer. This is promising.
That's not true, Theo.
Here we go.
He's not the only family that you have left.
I thought you were gonna say, he's not the fat ugly.
Okay, I'm in the conversation.
Smiles at you like a mother would smile at a child, and she says, "No, they are not dead, Theo. I know that you heard news as a boy that they died in the jungles, but they did not. They made their way to where the...
Okay, so one revelation that happened was that your parents aren't dead. That was a thing. That was a thing that she told you.
Oh yeah,
she told you where to find your parents.
Let go.
I think you should hold on to it.
That's true.
It's the only thing that's kept me alive all these years.
I know.
All the betrayal.
And I think Fereshteh was telling you to let go of your wife.
I believe...
At least mortals.
Okay.
Mortals, at least.
Yeah. I believe that Narani is the one who made you like this.
And lost.
Yeah, I think it was the father
purpose is
thing that I
whatever you
was
make it to be,
like
Theo.
ready for.
In this world, this shifting tempest of storms and winds and rain,
Okay, I got some ideas now.
there is only but one purpose. Those that we make for ourselves.
I guess that should be probably one of
As
my
the wind
beliefs.
would.
Like, I gotta find my father
Has to take the next
or
step.
family, I guess.
So this is the thing, right? Like that's a long form thing, right? Like that's not going to happen in this session.
True. Yeah.
And she told you where to find him, right? And so the thing for her was, as I'm listening to this conversation, it was
I
basically
can
like
help you find something.
Fereshteh is like
whether or not the thing
trying to let you help you find a purpose in life.
That's right.
Longer. Learn more of the ways of my priests.
And she wanted you to be in the priesthood.
There is much for you to do. Yes?
Caspian. Can I trust him?
You can trust him as far as you could throw him.
I'm trying to get to the end of
Dangerous
this
men.
conversation to see
Harver
how to end
Excuse
it.
me?
the virtues that they hold.
not trust Cantarius. He's just kind of like, I don't know, like what I.
There's one thing I would ask you, Theo. Do you want your wife back?
Okay, yeah. I just asked you as Fereshteh, do you want your wife back? Let's see what you say. I don't remember.
I don't
thought
know.
I said no.
Good.
But he said he wanted her to
I
be
feel
happy.
where she is now. Now she sees me now. And she's happy. And she wants me to be happy here, even without her.
She does.
Yeah, it was basically like, I think she's,
Do I
yeah,
want
she's
her
like
here
literally in
with me?
heaven, right?
Yes.
Like,
Will I ask you to bring her
Yeah.
back? No.
yep, okay. So you just said no. I won't ask to bring her back.
I think that
Okay.
is wise, Theo. It would be a difficult and arduous task. It may even cost you your life. And then where would we be? Go with the wind's favor. And then she like, and let the steps of your own heart guide you, and the fond memories that you face together.
All right, cool. All right, I got a good idea then. Oh, hi Carly, how are you? We're streaming and a friend of mine hopped on to watch us. Anyway, so that was probably really boring to watch. I was just like going through this old stuff. Okay, so I think I have a good idea though of what's been going on now. Yeah, so I think Theo kind of decided, right, that he needs to find a new purpose in life. Fereshteh can help him with this, and so he needs to, I mean, with your belief there, right, like I will gain enough religious knowledge to please the goddess. And so you need to, become part of this priesthood basically. And part of it is you need to find a new purpose for yourself in something, so there's a couple of other things that I'm thinking about for that third belief slot that might make sense. So keep in mind that you still have the whole situation with the Crow Inquisitors soldiers. Remember, like they're
Like
still
that.
important to you, right? Like you've trained them. They're still an important part of your life. They might be part of this next phase of your life. Like, so the Crow Inquisitors are still important to you. I would assume, right? Like Cantarius and them. The other thing is that Susuo is still around. The lady in white. She's been a part of the camp this whole time. No one has interacted with her. She's just been healing people, like she does. So yeah, if you wanted to talk to her, that's the thing you could do.
I think like the scene would open up with him like praying and just kind of like probably praying to the goddess, like even though she's probably not there, he's just praying to her, like almost like discussing, like he's like talking about how, like what he's gonna say to his father when he sees him, like does he even know like I'm alive, or like, and he's just like what do I say to him? I don't know what I'm gonna say to him. Is he gonna remember me? Is he even gonna want to see me? Is he gonna get mad because like I didn't go find him?
Yeah. So so question then, are you actually praying via the faith scrolls to try to get something, or are you just praying as a ritual?
There was one thing I was gonna pray that she would tell me what my purpose was, because she hasn't told me yet. She said I did have a purpose, but she didn't say what it was, or what, or like that she'd help me find it. Like he's still just kind of like asking, see if she'll tell him or not. Maybe not. So yeah, I guess I could roll for faith.
Okay, yeah. So you're trying to roll for guidance, right?
Guidance.
What specifically is the question? Sorry, I was looking up something.
That she'll tell him what his purpose is, like if he's meant to like lead some sort of rebellion, or
so this is the thing, right? Like we already had that conversation. That's what happened last. That was that conversation. Basically, she said two things: learn to be a priest of me, of my, of me as the goddess, and then also like part of her whole spiel was we make our own purposes. Like, because you asked her that question, right? Like you had that conversation with her, and she said we make our own purposes in life. Like, find your own purpose. That is my answer for you. I think that's basically what you did the last time you prayed.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to, yeah, I don't think you would make another faith roll here probably, because you basically just did that in the chronology. So I think what I want you to do instead is roll a ritual check.
Do I have that?
You do not. So I
Right.
want you to go ahead and put this skill in your being learned, based on will/perception. So there should be a little option. Yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah. See that?
What is
Yeah,
it?
it's called ritual.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want you to roll that basically to pray correctly, right? To do this as a ritual, like you are doing the proper praying, prayer time of a priest of Fereshteh, and this is part of your training in the knowledge, right? So yeah, go ahead and do that, and ob 1, so it will automatically double to 2 when you put it in. Yeah. See how that goes. See, there you go. Not too bad.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you still have wounds because of Harver.
It's not funny.
Oh, that actually is.
No,
pretty
but
funny.
what's his name? Singfred or
Siegfried?
like saved me. Siegfried like
Siegfried did something.
he helped me. He helped me so I didn't help me heal the wound, but that wasn't like fully healed.
Yeah, okay, so it says right here you have injury recovery of 6 weeks. So it will take 6 more weeks for you to recover from this injury, because I think it was a midi wound originally.
-1. I guess it'll be all right.
Yeah, it was a midi wound originally, and he healed it back down to a late wound. Yeah, so you still got 6 weeks on that. So whatever you do, you will have a -1 dice because of that wound. Because like literally your head like is just throbbing all the time, because he slammed his knee into your head.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, like.
Yeah, so that's not fun. Yeah, so you do this ritual correctly, right? Like you're kneeling and praying. There's like, you know, you're in this the prayer room. You're actually in the same prayer room that you kind of did it with the with the priestess.
Yeah,
that whole debacle. Oh goodness.
He was in a part of his life where he was like upset, right?
Yeah, and so just go have sex with some random lady. That'll solve that problem.
Never does.
She's still around, by the way. But
yeah,
so
that's awkward.
Yeah,
I can't get the like. I can't get my like stats up. It won't do it for some reason.
What are you trying to do?
I'll just reset and then.
So
I feel like he consistently like sneaks out.
Yeah.
I feel like he sneaks out a lot and goes back to his camp just to see how everyone's doing. Like
yeah, that makes sense. So, you know, in theory, you're here practicing and training to be a priest, but you're not the best priest in the world. You're sneaking up periodically. So we'll make a roll for that. But first, I just want to describe, like, so basically, you know, you're in that same prayer room, right? And you know, you're kneeling on the, you know, this prayer cushion that you're supposed to have when you pray, and you know, you're in front of this like altar, and it has some, you know, feathers on this shrine, like an offering of I think it probably has like a dove, right? Like as a burnt, like sort of like a burnt offering that you put in there. There's some incense going, and yeah, so you're doing the proper praying ritual, and yeah, I think you hear a knock on the door, right? And you hear a knock on the door.
Come in.
Yeah, and the door creaks open slightly, and you see the matriarch, Mita, and yeah, she kind of like slowly kind of walks in. Remember, she's like 58 or something.
Yeah,
and you know, pretty elderly. Looks older than she actually is, even. So she looks like she's probably like in her 70s or 80s, but just kind of like stress, gray hair and stuff like that. And yeah, she kind of like shambles in, and she has like, I think I've described her before, but she has the garb of the matriarch of the temple.
Yeah.
So she has these ceremonial robes and has some like feathers kind of like tied into her hair, her long gray hair. And yeah, she kind of like looks at you, and I think I want you to make a roll now. Let's see how successful you've been at sneaking out, or whether or not it's been noticed. So go ahead and make a stealthy roll for me. You do not have that skill, but you've been working on it. You've been working on it for a while now. Yeah, you have 3 more tests before you'll unlock that. But yeah, let me see. I think I have her character sheet here. She would be the one who would notice you or not. And so let me see if she has observation as a skill. No, she does not. And so she's gonna roll her observation against you.
Oh, great.
But she doesn't have it. She doesn't have it. So it's a little bit easier.
Sure, you can add ones like. What do you use? We use Burning Wheel as the thing, but it's like what was the base, Tom?
Put in 1 because it will double to 2. Because she doesn't have this skill either, so you're both.
Oh, so I just roll. It doesn't matter.
Yep, there you go. So, well, I guess you're tied. So let's see. You don't have any traits, I don't think, right? To break this tie. But I don't think she does.
I don't think
either.
so.
I'll just let it go to you because tie goes to defender. I don't think she's gonna spend any fate or anything on it. So. Yeah, and so where if you had failed this roll, this would be the matriarch coming to like scold you for sneaking out. Instead, she doesn't know that you've been sneaking out, and so she just walks in and she kind of like nods her head to you and she says, "Good. It is so good to see that you have been earnest in prayer and ritual, and you are taking your lessons seriously, Theo. How has your seeking the guidance of Fereshteh gone? Have you found the purpose for which you've sought?"
He kind of like chuckles to himself. He's like, "Yeah, I hope I'm doing this right. I'm trying my hardest, but I feel I've been lacking."
We all feel like
looks
that.
Down, kind of like he doesn't know like if he's doing it right or if he's gonna fail. Like he doesn't know about this. Like he wants to do it, but he feels like he's not good enough to do it.
Yeah, she says, we all feel like that, Theo. There are stages in our life that we will always feel like that. We cannot learn, we cannot change, we cannot grow without this feeling of inadequacy. Soon it will change to a feeling of confidence if you are diligent and you have the will to succeed and try again, even if you fail. But I have seen nothing but progress in you, Theo. You are wise and earnest. I think that you will fit in very nicely here. As I said, it has been a long time since we have had a male as part of the flock here in White Sea. And this is one of the weird things about the religion of this region. So normally, like it's a very matriarchal religious system. And so matriarchs are always the leaders of these temples. And most of the priests are women. Most of them are priestesses. But there is a specific place that males have in this clergy. And I'm not entirely sure what it is. So I think what we're going to do here, do you have any ideas about the way you would like the male priesthood in this religion to work? Like what would be beneficial to you to have it be like?
How does the I guess this system, is this like a life of meditating and like you can't go anywhere, or is it like or is it kind of like you know?
So
I'm thinking more like, is there like an evangelism thing?
So the things we know about this religion so far is the priesthood is much looser than Serragon, like infinitely looser than Serragon. So I mean, the whole thing that happened with you and the priestess, like that's a common occurrence. It's totally normal for that to happen.
Wait, with the what?
With the priestess,
The other girl?
yeah, the other priestess. Yeah, when that whole debacle happened, that's normal, and you found that out while you've been here. Like almost all of the priestesses have tried flirting with you at one point or another, and whether or not you've accepted any of their advances or anything is up to you. But like that's just a normal thing that happens in this this religious climate. It's very loose. It's very kind of informal. There's not necessarily, I'm not sure if there's evangelism necessarily in a.
I was thinking like, you know how a like sometimes there's like a priest that is like a right hand, or like a, you know, somebody that goes before, you know, some of the leaders, and it's like someone who, you know, it goes out and like talks to, you know, say Caspian or something, like, oh, here's some guidance, or let me pray for you, or, you know, the guys who tell the king like, oh, I saw bird signs, you know, stuff like that.
Yep, that is definitely the way that these matriarchs usually function in this cultural climate. Unfortunately, before in this town specifically, it's been run by Serrano originally, and so the matriarch of this has been a leader of the people and like, you know, a social guidance person who's been there for social guidance and religious guidance, but the leaders of the town have never really taken her seriously. And there's the relationship that would normally be had with a sahib of the region, or a sahiba, the normal like of the culture, like tribal leaders, like clan leaders. It's not the same here. And Caspian, even though he is technically part of the same culture, has forgone. He's basically a dictator. Like he's forgone any of the normal relationships with the religion, with the matriarchy in this.
So no, he's just kind of like put them in a little box and let them do their own thing.
Yes,
like,
exactly. He's very much like sequestered them away from normal social and political things in this town. You've probably sensed that the matriarch doesn't like that at all, if you've ever had the chance to hear or talk about it or whatever.
I got an idea what I want to do. I want to talk to her about Caspian and see if she knows, like, because I don't really know much about him.
Real quick. So what is something that is real quick that you want to be true about the male priesthood? Like the male version of this. So normally the priestesses are here to help people when they do rituals and various like prayers, and whenever someone wants to commune with Fereshteh, that's what the priestesses are here for. They're here to guide people in religious observances. Now normally this is mainly just handled by women. What about the males is different? Why is it a rare thing for a male to be part of the priesthood, and what's different about them being part of that? Well, what's an idea that maybe you have? Because like I can make up stuff, right? Like, but what would be something? Because this is what Burning Wheel is for, right? What's something that you would like to be true about that side of the priesthood? What would be something that would be beneficial for Theo in this situation?
I mean, I don't know how well this works if it's not legal or something, but I would say like freedom, not necessarily like freedom from it, but freedom to go wherever you want.
Okay, so where the priestesses are supposed to be like put in, are supposed to stay in the temple, right? They're there to live in the temple and be sequestered in the temple and to do everything they do in the temple. The males are the evangelists then.
Yeah, kind of like evangelists or go out, you know, they can go out and do
They're
stuff
like the wandering evangelizers and stuff like that. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, I'm down with that.
Or to do, you know, they're you know, worshiping the gods, you know, you can go other places and do that, you know, to help other people or to get stuff done. You know, they're like they're the ones who are going to summon them to do stuff for us, you know. They're the ones who are going to, you know, then yeah, but this is definitely the matriarchs are the ones who tell you where to go.
That's what happens,
yes.
right? They're the ones who are directing all of this.
They're telling me where to
Mhm.
go and what to do, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go out and do it.
And I don't. And so, are you aware of this at this point in your training? Are
I
you
would
aware
say
of?
no. I think he
Yeah,
still
that's
thinks
what
that he's supposed to be in
Right?
there.
Yeah, and I think that that
So
stealth
he
thing
sneaks out.
definitely happened, but you
It's
don't
probably
know
why
yet.
she didn't notice. Like maybe she
Yeah.
did notice and just didn't say anything because she's like, oh,
exactly.
maybe he already knows that, and he's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh,
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. So yeah, like, and do you want to have that conversation with her then?
yeah.
What do you want to say?
I think it'd just be like, he would, like, is she like in like a building or something? Or,
I mean,
like,
this is literally the same scene, right? Like you guys are just, she came in while you're praying, and so you can just like turn to her and ask this question if you want.
Yeah, it would just be like, what do you know about, is it Lord Caspian or?
It would either you would call him maybe Caspian Goldvein if you're feeling kind of midway between respectful and disrespectful. Caspian if you don't care, or the Sahib if you want to be really formal about it.
Yeah, whatever that is, and it's like, what do you know about him?
Yeah, the matriarch looks at you and she says, Caspian. Well, that is a sore subject. I don't like him. I don't think that he is a good ruler of these people, and I think that he is greedy and dictatorial to a fault.
Before I came here, some of my friends got involved with Caspian. Should I be worried about this?
Are you speaking of Cantarius and the Crow Inquisitors?
Wait, do I know that she knew about them? Because I would think I wouldn't. Like, how do you know their names?
Yeah, I mean, you like if what you expect is, oh, she's just a random matriarch or priestess or whatever. Yeah, I think this might be a little surprising.
Okay, yeah, I'd just be like, you know them.
Of course, I know them. I am one of the most important people in this town. I make sure to keep up on current events.
Then, did you know me before I came to you?
Of course, though that was something of a more religious nature. Fereshteh came to me in a dream and advised me of your role in upcoming events and the importance of teaching. I think we had a discussion like this before.
Did she tell you what my life? Did she tell you what my life was like before?
Not in so many words. She told me that you were a troubled soul who has been in the hand of many an angry god before and needed to be weaned off of bad religion and onto a good faith.
I think at this moment he kind of like flashbacks all the things that he's done, like all the people he's like murdered, and he kind of like wants to tell her, but he kind of like chokes up and just doesn't.
Yeah.
Like he wants to be honest with her because he trusts her, but he's just like, what if they just like kick me out, or what if she's just like afraid of what she'll say?
I'm literally a murderer. Please don't kick me out. Yeah.
Almost like he feels like he's holding in like a sin, and he's like, you don't know like my past. Like I'm a murderer. You think I'm because I was a religious nature. That's true, but I also kind of fell apart and killed a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think she says, what can I do for you, Theo? What will make this pain go away? What will make you see that Fereshteh is worthy of respect and honor? That serving her is the best thing that you can do with your life?
He turns away and doesn't, and like says, talks to her, but not looking, like turns the other way and says this. He's like, I'm trying to think of how to word this. Like all the good things in my life stay that way. Like in the context of everything that good happens to him gets taken away from him. and not like good things happen, but like the good, like he's talking about like people.
Yeah. So what are you asking her to do?
Make him believe that Fereshteh can do that.
Right.
Because like if it doesn't matter, if he's just gonna lose everything again, like, because that's why he always wants to protect people, because he doesn't want to lose them, but he's not powerful enough or strong enough to do that.
I think there's a long pause, and then Mita just starts chuckling softly. And she says, "Oh, Theo, you misunderstand what faith means. Faith doesn't mean that you have confidence in some entity that will make your life better, or change all of the sadness to happiness, to joy, make everything rainbows and blue skies. No, faith is knowing that you have one thing, that if everything else was taken away, you would still be able to walk another step, knowing that you had that one thing. That one thing is the faith, Theo. Faith is the one thing that cannot be taken away from you if you do not desire it. Anything else can. Your friends, your companions, your health, your life. But faith in something greater than yourself, this is the thing that cannot be taken from you, and the thing that is worth keeping, worth relying upon."
Then how can I have a purpose?
Okay.
If I can't protect the ones I love. If I can't protect them, then how can I have any purpose? To have faith that I can't protect them? To have faith that everything doesn't matter, but I was gonna say the gods, but
Yeah. Theo, you misunderstand me. I do not mean to be nihilistic and say that nothing matters and that all you need to do is continue praying forever and ever, and then you will enter a world of eternal bliss. No, that is not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, this world is cruel and random sometimes. We can try as hard as we can and still fail. What I am telling you is that in those moments, you will want to have faith. You can try, and your faith may give you the confidence to succeed in those goals that you seek after, those purposes that you desire. But without it, when you fail, and this is not a question of if, but a question of when you fail to protect those that you love, faith is the one thing that can make you stand up again and try one more time.
like that one. Thank you.
Of course. That is my job, after all, to convince people of the faith.
Well, you did a pretty good job at it. I guess that's.
Well, I have been practicing a long time.
He's like, yes, a long time.
No, don't get cheeky on me, Theo.
My apologies.
How do your studies? How are they coming?
A struggle, but they come along. I have the motivation to continue and the motivation to do the best I can.
So I'm going to go ahead and add foreign doctrine to your being learned. And I'm going to give you a few bubbles in it because I'm just going to say, well, here, let me double check here. Does Mita have instruction?
Right, Nick.
Well, she should, so I'm going to give it to her. We're going to roll here for her instruction to see how well she has been able to teach you. this doctrine. Oh wow, she failed. That's not good. Wow. She had 8 dice and she got 2 successes. All right.
Come on.
She's
what?
She's gonna roll
doing a terrible job.
She's gonna roll a fate. She didn't spend a fate. There you go. Okay. That's all she needed. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you a tick in foreign doctrine. So she's in the process of teaching you that. And I'm gonna go ahead and just make one more roll of the same variety, because that's probably been the amount of time that you've had to make that amount of rolls. There you go. That was much better. All right, so you've got 2 ticks in foreign doctrine. You need 3 more to advance it. At any point, you can just try to like learn something about doctrine or make up something up about doctrine, and see if that succeeds. So, I mean, you know, actually, what we probably should do is that tidbit you came up with about the males. That's a foreign doctrine roll. So let's go ahead and roll that to make sure that is actually true, because that's the way the rules work. And let's just make it a 1. Let's see if it's true.
Wow, it's not true.
Yeah, you didn't get a 6. So I'm gonna say that it is true, but
I don't know
it's
that.
not. Well, it's there's a twist to it, right? So
I can only go if she tells me to.
yeah, you can only go if she tells you to, right? And it's very specifically like on the matriarch's direction. Otherwise, I think, okay, so I'm gonna this is a little bit weird, but I'm gonna say that this is not a thing that you knew going into this, and it's not been told to you up to this point, but I think Mita brings this up. All right, so the matriarch looks at you and she says, Theo, I think we need to have a conversation about one of your roles here in the temple.
Of course.
I said that it is rare to have a male join. It's been a while since we've had one. There's the one reason for that I failed to mention is that you may be called upon to provide certain services.
He's kind of like, I guess his eyes is kind of like widen, but he doesn't like know too much. He's kind of like, oh.
And, okay, so I don't know how weird we want this to get.
No, I see what you're saying. Like,
I'm trying to think of how this would exactly work in a culture. So.
Well, I mean that was a thing in pagan cultures back in.
Yeah.
That was like a service to the gods,
Yeah, and I think that's part of the role here, right? Like, is that okay? So you have an option, all right? I'm not gonna just like say that if you're part of this priesthood, you have to like have sex with people, right? Like, necessarily. But I think you have 2 options, right? You can choose to basically belong to the community of the temple. And so normally the women in the temple are not supposed to be married ever, but they are expected to have children
okay.
On a regular basis.
Monogamy.
Well, polygamy is.
Polygamy.
So you have 2 options. You can either opt into the program that says you are basically, that's part of the service of this thing is to This is so weird. I'm sorry.
No,
But
you're fine.
I've already established that this is a very, like, it's very different culture from Serran. And this is part of the reason that the Serrano are so vehemently against this culture, is because they're so sexually loose. And I think one of the things, right, is that you're kind of required to basically, anyone in the community can just come to you at any point and say, I would like a child. And you're expected to give them a child, basically, right?
Mhm,
Or
yeah.
you have another option. You have the option of apprenticing yourself to one of, well, basically enslaving yourself to one of the priestesses or the matriarch, and you don't have to provide that service, but you basically are their like never-ending servant. This is one of the reasons. So this is one of the reasons that males try to go do missions as much as possible, so that they don't have to like just be stuck with one of those two options. Because that's the third thing. I guess the third option is right. Like you can opt to be away from the temple all the time.
Which one has the most freedom? Outside of
Opting
the
to be away from the temple all the time. So basically, you can align. Okay, you know what? Scratch the servant thing. The two options are be like a permanent sperm donor, or I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Adam. Or basically be like the person who's on call as a person who like undergoes missions for the temple. Right?
Probably the missions.
Yeah, that's.
He wants to be able to go free.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so she kind of lays this out for you, right? The matriarch, and she says, "This is one of the reasons that we don't often get male recruits to the temple. I personally find it a little archaic myself. Back in a time when the sexism in this culture was a little bit more rampant than it is now. The matriarchs were a little bit more firmly in control of society's views on certain things. But yes, I assumed that you would opt for the second option. I just thought I would lay it out before we got too far in your apprenticeship. I apologize for any miscommunication or awkwardness."
No, it's fine. I'm fine. We're fine.
Everybody's fine. So you
He's
know,
kind of like awkward about it, but he's like, he's like trying to act like normal, so he's like just making it.
you know what I should probably do though, right? One, I gotta ask you. There have been advances by many of the other priestesses while you're here. Have you given into temptation again?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
But he's like,
How many
he's like,
times?
wait, so that's like I have to do that? Like, no, that's not what I meant. No.
How many times? Just as an estimation.
Say like 17.
Oh my goodness! Wow, Theo. Okay. Well.
I thought that was small, considering how many people are there, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Theo. Yeah, it's probably a good idea that you're not going after trying to get your wife back anymore.
He's like, I'm free. No, I'm just kidding.
So let's do this. I'm gonna roll a die of fate, and on a 1, you have actually gotten one of these priestesses pregnant.
Oh, dang it!
All right, I got this 2. All right, so it didn't happen. Oh goodness, what is this session becoming? Anyway, so that didn't happen.
At least also my sister, like.
Oh my gosh, yeah, like
Alphonse.
Yeah, wow.
He justifies it.
That child is alive, and yeah, that's gonna be a thing later. I have notes about that child. and the important things they will do in the future. So, yeah. So now what do you want to do?
Okay, now I think he's gonna like the night of, or that night he's probably gonna try to sneak out. He wants to go find what's her name? Serragon?
Susuo?
Susuo, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Let's have you roll stealthy again. See how well this goes.
So he's probably like packing up all his stuff and he's gonna try and sneak out again.
Yeah.
And he's probably asking around, but he doesn't want. I mean, obviously, you know, he's still kind of trying to avoid like Cantarius and all them. So he's just like hooded, you know, like looking, you know, asking random people like, "Hey, have you seen the lady in white?"
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and roll stealthy for me. I'll 1.
Oops, wrong one. Stealthy. Where is that?
See, you're being learned.
Wait, that was a being learned. Oh, dang it! Again, I keep forgetting.
Yep.
What's the base ob?
1.
Oh no. Okay. Wow.
Oh wow.
I can't do anything.
you
Just
gotta
a -1 wound kills me every time.
Yeah.
I don't...
You got a 6. So you can spend a fate if you want to.
Sure, I got a lot of them.
Okay.
Oh. Is it 1v6 or 1d6?
1d6, yeah.
D?
Yep.
Whoops. Wait.
So /R or roll space 1d6.
I forget the space.
Yeah.
What? Dang it!
Here, I got it. It's / roll space 1d6. You have to do the slash.
I did add the slash. I thought I did.
Here, I'll let you do it because
Slash roll. You said space, right?
space 1d6.
There we go.
There you
Hey.
go. And then it would re-roll again automatically, so you got 2 more successes. Okay. Cool. All right, so you managed to sneak out. And yeah, you make your way into the camp, and
then I'm just walking through, and I probably like grab some random guy. I'm like, "Have you seen Lady in White?" Intimidation roll.
I mean, no, he just tells you, right? Like, or actually, this is a circles roll. That's what this is. Make a
Ooh,
circles
true.
roll to find the lady in white.
Do I not have that?
You have circles. Everybody has circles. It's just you only have circles 2, unfortunately.
Great.
So let's see what the op of this would be. So let's see. You have Warrior of the Faith, which would give you're gonna get 1 die on this because of your reputation. Unless you actually don't want people to know that you're Theo.
Maybe the people I ask.
Well, so
Could I say like who I am, then say don't tell anybody?
Yes, you could do that. It will definitely get around that you were asking, because these people aren't just gonna.
Well, like just kind of like tell them that and be like, don't tell anyone.
You won't be like stopped.
Yeah.
Or like people are not gonna notice now.
So just one.
Yeah, you get one more die, so it's a 1 modifier. So Ob 3.
Oh dang. I don't even know if I can succeed, can
I? With 3, you have 3 dice on this, so it's possible. It's difficult though.
But don't have a -1 wound.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I don't know if it works on. I don't know if it does it on circles. Let's see. Nope, it didn't do it on circles.
Oh, it didn't. Okay. Well, still failed.
But you still failed. So. So usually it's either like, so the way circles works is I can either
not know.
I can either say you just don't know, you can't find her. Or I could say that you find her and she doesn't like you. Because I think this is the first time you've used circles to find Susuo. So let me add her to your circles here.
Wait, what did you say?
You've used that once. Okay. So yeah, what I'm gonna say is I'm trying to think of a reason she wouldn't like you or like be like.
Maybe she thinks I'm just like a. Have you ever seen Troy?
No.
Maybe she thinks I'm just like a war, like like all I think about is war and fighting or something.
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Like in Troy, she calls him a dumb brute.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense because she's literally like a healer, right? And so anyone who's like gotten hurt, she just has started blaming you throughout this entire time that she's been with the Crow Inquisitor. She's been like, it's that stupid general guy who's like leading the troops. He gets them all riled up, and then they get into a fight, and then I have to heal them all. Like this guy is so cocky, and I don't like him. Yeah, and so you maybe tried to have a conversation with her before, right? But let's just say it never went well. And yeah, so she is. So it's kind of, I mean, it's nighttime, right? That you sneak out.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like Susuo is reading a book by candlelight in her tent, outside in the Crow Inquisitors encampment. And so I mean, what are you gonna try to like sneak up behind her, or just walk in, or like what?
Yeah, I'll just walk in and be like, but like I guess like the first thing I would say was be like just let me talk, like, because I feel like she would just be like, oh man, like I don't really want to talk to you, kind of thing.
Also real quick, let's write a belief about Susuo. So you'll get Arthur and stuff for this. What do you want? What do you want about this? Like, why do you want to find Susuo?
I guess he just kind of likes her, but not in like a direct way. Just kind of like he fancies her, and so he just wants to talk to her. I guess. Like, why is she there? He doesn't know that she's Susuo.
Yep. I will find out her reasons for joining the Crow Inquisitors. That's a good belief. Cool. So what do you say when you get to the entrance of her tent?
Does she want me to leave right away?
I mean, what do you not say anything when you get to the, like, you just walk in, like, what's?
Yeah, he would just walk in, like.
Yeah,
she doesn't say anything, then he just be like.
She doesn't say anything immediately. You see her tense up, like her shoulders kind of like just tense up, because she can tell that you're here.
And then he would probably say something like you don't need to be afraid of me. I'm not like the rest of the people around here.
Do the fire bell. Do the fire bell.
Aren't you though? She says.
Never mind.
Loss has made me who I am. Who I am on the outside. On the inside,
What can you tell me of Iris, Theo? She says, just like cutting you off from your dark, suave monologue.
Iris. I don't know.
You two are cousins, correct?
Go.
Yes. You know him.
I know him very well. And so, like, to your knowledge, like, these people, you've never seen these two interact on this entire.
Yeah.
2 years.
Like, that's why I was like, why are you asking him about Reese?
Yeah.
He'd just be like, I don't know anymore. I thought deep down inside he was just a little boy that I used to know, but this is different. He seems like deep in his core, I don't know. He resents me.
He's changed. Quite dramatically. You know, I knew him back when he was himself. back when he was just an idealistic young man who stole his father's sword and ran away. With
Where's she from again?
She's from Checo.
Yeah, I was gonna ask her like, wait, you're from that place or
Checo.
Checo?
Yeah, she says, yes, I am.
And what else happened?
I mean, so she wasn't implying necessarily. So all she said was, I mean, yeah.
Well, like he's like, well, like how do you know him? Like,
right. Yeah. She says,
like you seem awfully like close to him. Like, are you like his friend or? I mean, it could be his sister for all I know.
Yeah.
Because he was only like 7 when I met him.
I mean, she's very obviously not his sister, unless it's like a weird half sister situation.
Yeah, that's true. Because
yeah, because of cult, ethnicity. But she says, we fell in love once on the rolling tide of.
Wait, I can't remember. In that story, were they allowed to get married?
Oh no, absolutely not. So in that.
Oh, she was royalty. He wasn't. Oh no,
they were both royalty. She was a prince and she was a princess of different countries. She was on the run from assassins. And Iris was convinced that he was the only person who could save her, and so he took her and they hired a ship to.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah. I think he would just say like he kind of like ignores the fact that like she knows him like are you like he kind of like infers that she's like royalty, but he's like I don't know like why didn't you get married, like kind of like what happened, but he doesn't ask about it. He's just like Iris seems to want more fame than anything else. He'll do anything to get it.
Yes,
tried convincing him otherwise, but he's too far gone that I don't know what to do anymore.
Yes, I've noticed that. Why are you here, Theo? She turns around for like the first time.
I don't know if he would say like I'm here for you or like
what possessed you to come into the middle of my tent in the middle of the night and talk to me, give me a monologue about your cousin.
I think I should change that.
I've been looking for you.
Yes.
I'm intrigued about your love for the people. It reminds me of someone I once knew.
So she's just not buying any of this. She looks at you and she's just like, "You're disgusting." She just turns back to her book because she sees right through you. You're playing the like I'm a dark, handsome stranger card, and she's just like not having it.
I don't understand why you hate me so much. What have I ever done to you?
You've killed most of the people that I've had the pleasure of saving their lives.
I killed those who were going to kill others.
Yes,
bad people.
And inadvertently, because of your desire for this, for these escapades that you and Cantarius seem to find yourselves going upon, you've killed many, many valiant men.
Many good men died for a good cause. They died so that they all wouldn't have to be under the dictatorship of the Pope, or whatever his name was, whatever he was, the Pope. That's over now. Their deaths were not in vain.
I'm not just talking about the people who died in Lucerta, Theo. I'm talking about the countless scores that have been wounded and killed while we have been traipsing about in this desert for the last 2 years.
Wait, who's she talking about?
She's talking about all the because she's been the camp doctor basically for a while now, and so she's talking about because you guys have been traveling the desert righting wrongs, right? And so you've gotten a bunch, several of your number have died, and gotten injured, and things have happened because you guys have fought bandits and those sorts of things, right? And so she's mentioning those. She's saying these fool's crusades that the leadership of this company decides that we need to get involved in, have killed many men that I had once saved.
What do you expect us to do? Sit around while evil lurks itself around the cities and takes more and more lives? Innocent lives? Before we go through and purify these evil towns.
You sound exactly like the holy knights who used to roam these deserts. Do you know what they did? They slaughtered women and children. Are you going to eventually start slaughtering women and children, Theo? I don't believe in any of this. I'm just here because I want to save these people's lives. Something that you seem very bent on not having happen. Theo, I don't understand any of this. Why are we here? Why haven't we just settled down somewhere? Or go back to Lucerta. Why are we traipsing about in the desert? What are you trying to prove?
You don't see what I see. You don't see men who become one thing and then later rule entire cities and kill more and more lives. You don't see where if you don't take it, the virus, if you don't kill it, well, it's still weak. And one day it'll go strong and it'll destroy everyone. I've seen it. I've lived it. I've watched it happen. I did what you did. I healed. And before I knew it, everything I loved was lost and taken from me. Stripped away. So I was beaten. And she was killed. Because I sat back and healed without killing. Killing is the only thing that works. Killing the evil before it kills us. That's what I do. Maybe in two different ways there's a way of healing. Destroying a virus before it destroys the entire world, or healing it just as long enough to see it destroy itself.
You're all the same, Theo. You like to make these big impassioned speeches about justice or viruses or preemptive destruction, but I see
I think at this point Theo just interrupts her and just does he have his trident with him?
No, remember? It was taken from you.
Do you think he has like any sort of weapon?
He has like a knife or something if you want.
Yeah, I think you would just like pick it up and like throw it like at her feet and like then end it now, and he kind of like gets on his knees and like opens his arm, like then just end it now. Like she's
very surprised. She's just like, I just finished telling you I don't want to kill anyone. I don't want anyone to die.
Well, if I'm killing so many, then one man couldn't hurt. If I'm such a destruction to this town, to this world of what you believe is so good, then one man to save many, isn't that a sacrifice you can make? Yeah. If not, then
no. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing here, Theo. You're trying to get me to do the exact same thing that you've been doing. You're trying to get me to see your perspective by realizing that, oh, if I can kill you, this person who's been doing all this evil, then maybe I can stop more evil from being done. That's not how it works. You can't solve anything through violence. There's one thing I've learned in this world. You can't solve anything through violence. You can't protect by killing. There are those who save lives and there are those who take lives, and I am one who saves lives. You are one who takes lives. If I pick up that knife, then I become you, and all of my healing is for naught. I will not do so, and I will please kindly ask you to leave. So you can make a roll here to attempt to do something, right? Like,
no, I think
you try to convince her of something, or
I could try, I guess. Since I was arguing with her, I might as well just try a persuasion. Was that a persuasion roll?
So I mean, what are you trying to do, right? Like, are you trying to
try to convince her that I'm not a bad guy, basically. Like I'm not not like me particularly, but just like what we're trying to do. I mean, it's like we don't want to kill. Like that's my persuasion. Like we don't want to kill, but if we don't, then innocent people are going to die, and I know that firsthand. Because I feel like that's what Theo is like. His core belief is like that if you don't kill those who are evil, then they'll kill you and the ones you love, because it happened to me.
Mm-hmm. So go ahead and make one more statement that's gonna like tie up this conversation and like still try to drive home your point, and then roll oratory. I think that's the skill you're rolling, because you're making like in this impassioned speech about justice and whatnot. So what's the last thing you say before you like make the roll, like that would maybe convince her one way or the other?
Those men that you heal, I guarantee you that if you ask them, would they die to ensure their freedom from those who desire to take it away from them, they would answer yes. Dying is just another part of life. And if someone seeks to take it away from us, that's something worth fighting for.
Okay. Make an oratory roll. You can fork in persuasion. You can fork in probably just persuasion, actually.
This is different at the bottom.
Actually, fork in conspicuous, because you're calling on your whole like gladiatorial like draw attention to myself sort of thing.
So just one of those, or two of those?
You can add two. Yeah. The obstacle is going to be her will, which is what is your will?
It don't matter what.
4.
Dang it.
Oh, you rolled observation.
Dormitory.
Oh wait. Oh, I'm sorry. What was it?
Oratory.
Oratory. Sorry. Oh, that's even worse.
Yep.
What if I got it? Like, what? No, I don't even think I can.
Yeah, so 2 modifiers.
Wait, can I roll fate if I get 6?
You can also spend persona on this, by the way. You have 9 persona to work with.
I kind of want to do that. How many persona do I have? You can only use 1, right?
You can use a maximum of 3, I think.
How many do I have? I don't even know.
Let me double check. You have 9.
I have 9, really?
Yep. You have. Let's see. You can spend 3. Yep.
I kind of want to do that.
Yeah, do it. So put that in Artha. That's where you put 3. So it'll be modifiers 2, Artha 3, Ob 4.
You're free.
Yes.
Nice. Oh man, that was really good. And you got a challenging oratory test too.
That's challenging.
Legit, man. Yeah, that was challenging, because the cool thing about Artha, right, is that it doesn't change the difficulty of the test, like modifiers do. So even though you had, like, if you had just had a bunch of modifiers, it would have made it easier. Like in terms, you would have gotten less than a challenging, but yeah. Nice. That's really cool. So I think what happens is so remind me again, what was the last thing you said of that?
I basically said that if you asked all those men who are wounded or that she healed, would they rather die than suffer under like dictatorship or something, and to stop someone whose desire is to take away their freedom. That's something worth dying for. Like, in other words, fighting is necessary if it's for your freedom. That's something worth fighting for.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, she kind of slumps, and I think we get this like little small montage of like a flashback of her memory from her point of view, and we see some like dying children, right, who are like slumped against this like burning building in the middle of this like desert town somewhere in Nasrin, somewhere in this region. This was like a year ago, right? And
yeah.
These children are like slumped against this building. A little girl and a little boy, their brother and sister. And then one of them, the boy is like bleeding from his side, and the girl is like frantically trying to like staunch the flow, and you know they're right next to their burning building. Their like father is like, you know, dead at like a couple paces away with like a spear in his back, and we see a horseman like start riding down like the center of this like the road of the town towards the children, and the girl like just like looks up with terror, right, at this like guy with a spear on this horse who's like riding towards them. You know, he's Middle Eastern in ethnicity, and you know, he has this like helmet on, and he's just like sneering as he like, and his teeth like gritted as he like rides toward them and like holds up the spear, and then you show up out of nowhere, and right now we see Susuo like on the other side of the street, and she like, you know, is in her normal like lady in white garment, and she was like trying to tend to one of the soldiers, right, who, and there's like a battle going on, you know, in
that was back when we were like that whole thing with
you're wandering around the desert, right, like righting wrongs.
Oh yeah.
And Susu was like, you know, doing battle like field medicine kind of a thing for like field dressing on a soldier. And she looks over and she sees this, right, and she tries to like, she stands up and she's like, no, and like is running towards them, but she can't get there soon enough, and then you come out of nowhere, and you like stand valiantly right in front of this horseman who's like charging, and you have your trident in hand, right, and you run forward and you grab on, you Legolas this, right, you grab onto the saddle and like swing up and like stab the guy in the chest and like knock him off the horse, and then you grab the reins of the horse and like pull him up, right, and you look down, and you smile at the children, and then Susuo runs over, right, and the child just kind of like the girl like crumples crying, right, as her brother is like bleeding out, and Susuo manages to get over and like starts wrapping up, and then you go and like you continue fighting, right, and Susuo looks up at you, and she like has this confused look on her face, and she we go back to her face now, right, and she looks back at you and she says,
you never got early enough. Right, what if you go?
And we realize in the narrative, right, like if this is a TV show, we realize that she has just told you this story. That's what this was.
Yeah, okay.
She just told you this story. And she says, I've been wondering about that day ever since. I'm sorry, Theo. I've been angry about so many things, and I was taking it out on you, and you do not deserve that. I don't know you, but I do not want to lie and pretend that I would never like to know you. A man who would do that, but still seems enigma to everything that I know and love. That is a mystery that I think I would like to know more about. How can this be? How can a man protect by killing?
Where's Samuel?
You want somebody that one.
I don't like. Wait, do I know her name? Or no,
Yeah.
I don't think.
I assume.
I don't like killing Susuo. I don't kill it for the joy of it. I don't kill it out of skill. I don't do it because I'm good at it. I do it to protect. I do only what I have to. And every time, even though I do what I have to, it's never good. It's just when I do, the path seems a little bit lighter. The burden gets a little bit less off my shoulders. I can see that a child running to her parents, a family safe, behind me, behind the Crow Inquisitors. The feeling of safety of other people is why I do it. And that's it.
I can't pretend to understand all of this. Mind you, I still don't really understand. I still don't agree with exactly what we're doing here. I think that we maybe go looking for trouble more often than not. But I will not continue to pretend to be so vexed with you. I apologize. I'm taking out many things on you right now. You've come upon me at a bad time. I'm sorry, what Theo are you doing here? What would you like to ask me?
I think. Do you think he has any sort of like, what's the word? Something from like the sanctuary, or something that like a sacred item.
From which sanctuary? Frank sanctuary?
The one that Theo like.
The Temple of Fereshteh?
Yeah, like a cross, but in the context of this.
Yeah, it would be like a little carved wood hawk like figurine.
I think he would like take it out, and then he like sets it down like on a nightstand or something, and he kind of like looks at her and he smiles and he says like, "Have faith." Because like he was like remembering what what she said to him. He just kind of like shares that knowledge with her, but he obviously doesn't tell her that, but he's just like, have faith.
She looks up at you kind of confused. Sorry, go ahead.
He just says, have faith in me.
Sometimes I think that you're in your own little world and you don't actually understand what's happening before you. I asked you a question, Theo. What
you said, what do you want from me?
What did you want to ask me? You want me to have faith in you? All right, then. I'm sorry. You're just a little intense sometimes.
Yeah, people say I can be that way sometimes.
How can you take yourself seriously?
To be honest, I don't.
So what? Is all this an act then?
Well, if you've ever been in the gladiators, win the crowd, win your freedom.
Yes, I think I heard that once. You're a gladiator of some kind. What? But again, like what? You just came to my tent in the middle of the night to tell me to have faith in you? What? I don't think we've had a conversation since in the last 2 years since I've known you. What do you want, Theo? What are you here for?
Oh man, I don't know what he says at this point, because he's kind of like.
So this is the thing, right? Like you have a belief, and it is, I am intrigued by the lady in white. I will find her reasons for joining the.
Oh yeah, I didn't tell her that. I thought I told her that, but I think I told you that.
Yeah, you never. You can just ask her that now. That's probably a good place to go.
I think he's just kind of like, I came here because I'm intrigued by you.
You're intrigued by me. All right. Well, I hope that I can, in some way, unravel the mystery of me in some way. What would you like to know?
Oh, it's kind of like put on the spot. Like, I mean, he kind of likes her, but he doesn't like say that. So he doesn't want to.
He was such an awkward human being. Like,
yeah, he is. He can sleep with like
so
17 priestesses, but can't can't talk about
typical male.
He just kind of like slumps into like a chair or something around the ground. He's just like, I don't know. I didn't think I'd get this far. Yeah, he's just kind of like looking at the ground. He's like, I don't know. I didn't think I'd get this far.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I can just ask you a question then. Why are you here? Why?
Yeah, take a lot.
Besides the whole save the people, justice for the weak, that whole thing. What is it about the Crow Inquisitors specifically that kept you here so long? I mean, when you really get down to it, the Crow Inquisitors are basically a cult. I mean, no offense, but they are. Do you believe in this great spirit thing? All of that?
Scholarship. Yeah. It's like, oh, I thought there was.
Well, I can give you 3 reasons why I'm still here. First one is Cantarius. We went through a lot as Crow Inquisitors, and I feel he needs me to keep him in order.
I believe that.
We have an understanding with each other.
That makes sense.
Second is I've been searching for some sort of purpose. Right now, what's the religion or whatever group is the priestess, or what would I call that? Like the
Priesthood of Fereshteh, probably.
Okay, yeah. I've been trying to find some sort of purpose. I've been at the Priesthood of Fereshteh. I've been stinking here every night. And the third reason is I think honestly I can't get you out of my mind. I don't know why.
Gosh. Oh no.
And I think now he gets kind of like oh man, like he gets like really nervous kind of thing.
Yeah, she pales. And I think I mean, make a seduction test. That was.
Is it? Well, I mean, he was also gonna say he's gonna like pause, and then he says like, "You remind me of someone," and you remind me of something. He says something.
Yeah, I'm just curious how well this will go, right? Like, unfortunately for you, you don't have seduction.
I don't.
Mm-hmm. Remember, you were learning it. You were trying to get Alphonse to teach you.
Yeah.
But
That's right.
you only really tried to learn it once, so.
Yeah, okay. Great.
Can I fork in the fact that I'm handsome?
I'll give you an advantage die. Yeah.
How does that work? I don't remember how to
Just
do
put
that.
1 modifier.
Okay.
You gonna add Artha to this?
I might want to. This is important to him.
You can add up to 3.
Why not? I never use those anyways. I'll save the other 3 for a good time. You know.
You're spending 3 Artha on it. So I mean, the ob is 4, unfortunately, which is going to double to 8, because it's her will.
Shoot, maybe I shouldn't do that because I'm probably gonna fail. It'd be like a extremely lucky chance.
I will give you 1 more advantage die for the oratory that you succeeded on.
I have 9 versus 8, and that's really tricky.
Yeah, you still have fate then.
Oh yeah, I do. Why not? What the heck? Dang it! Why am I learning this? Why did I not have? Oh, because he's not really that kind of guy usually. I mean, this isn't like a smooth seduction. It's more like
you just right. Like this is literally just like whether or not she's enamored by this, like whether or not she feels like touched or creeped out.
Yeah, true. She's probably gonna feel creeped out though.
right? So
Oh wow,
oh gosh, that was so bad.
it was very bad.
Well, you have
Wait, did I roll intimidation?
Yes, you did.
Oh,
Why did you do
okay.
that? Go ahead and roll it again.
I didn't even realize that. I was like,
Go
wait
ahead
a
and do
second.
seduction.
Let's try that again. It's probably gonna be worse or something. Oh,
That is a much better chance. You have two
Yes.
sixes.
how many?
You have two sixes, so if you spend a fate, you will get to reroll both of them.
Okay, I'll try it. Was it slash roll one? Do I do 2d6?
Slash roll 2d6 now, yeah.
Yes.
Is it space 2d6 always?
Yeah. Always space.
What does that mean?
You succeeded. Yep. You only need one success.
Oh,
You only needed one die to be 4, 5, or 6.
Okay, she's not creeped out. That's I just didn't want her to be creeped out, man.
Mhm. She's not creeped
Okay.
out. This is the beginning of the romance subplot for you guys.
And he's like stands up. He's like, so I should probably let you go to sleep or something.
Gosh. Theo is just so extra. Like, I can't even.
Well, like I feel like because he was only like in love once, and then he was kind of like tricked by the abs, and like I feel like back then he was probably the same way because like he's pretty chill with the ladies, but when it comes to someone he actually like
actually
likes, you
cares
know,
about. Yeah, you're
he's
definitely you're a
really,
player.
like, shy about it.
You're that cliche, right? Theo's that cliche in like all the rom-com movies of like the bad boy who like always has all the girls, but then when the one girl who like he actually ends up caring about, he's just totally bad with the relationships.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Okay.
You're bad at being
Yeah, I think that's what he says, and he's like, good night.
You just walk out.
It was like, you should probably get some sleep. You know, it's
Yeah.
probably a long day tomorrow. I got a long day tomorrow, and
Yeah.
good night.
Sit here.
And then he just kind of walks out, and he's just like
Wow.
slaps his head. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh goodness. Well. Yeah. So yeah, you head back to the temple, I think. So let's. So are you gonna be okay? Do you, question. So do you wanna make a roll to like train, with your athletics or whatever, like to be able to show up the goat herder next time you meet him?
yes.
Yeah.
Is that what? How do I do that? I don't remember.
Let's have you. So you're rolling. You're trying to train. You're trying to train brawling.
I think you would.
The
I think
thing,
you would do it in the middle of the night.
the
like,
thing to
'cause-
do. The real thing to do here is just try to circles up a trainer. That's what you want to do.
And like tell. Okay. Oh dang, this is not gonna work.
So the way to do this in your favor is you should do it. What you should really do is you should try to find someone in the Crow Inquisitors camp who not only like is one of your soldiers, right? Who's really good at brawling, but knew you when you were a gladiator, because then you can add 3 die to it because of your 2 reputations.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like the one of my soldiers who would be loyal to me would be people that I like. Would be at least some of them would be like my right hand man, or like people that like
So,
I really trust. So,
yeah,
like,
do you want to try to
because then-
circles up one of the soldiers, right, who used to be a gladiator like you?
yeah,
Yeah.
his name is wait. Can I come
No,
up?
I'm going back to
I mean,
sleep.
let's roll first and see who if this person fits.
Well, I
Um,
mean, could I find one and he'd be like say no or something?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can come up with a name, but let's see. It's gonna be let's see, 1, 2. So yeah, I think it's gonna be op 3.
Ooh, that's gonna be tough. Oh man.
So
It's
after,
gonna
but
be
you get to add 3 modifiers. So
3?
Yep.
Oh,
because of your 2D reputation for gladiator and 1D reputation for warrior faith.
oh, I get 2 for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because then I have evidence that he was doing something shady.
That's true.
Dang it.
How you can't tell Kate that you did.
You got a 6.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I got a lot of those, so.
You do.
I had to run out eventually.
Yeah.
Just like, dang it. Couldn't find.
Yeah.
I feel like it was hard to find a gladiator dude, anyways. unless I find one, he just says no. So no, because that would be a persuasion roll. So I guess I just didn't find one.
Well, so what happens, right, is this person exists, but they don't like you for whatever reason.
Great.
So this is obviously what this person is, and this is why this happens like directly after you finish this conversation with Susuo. This person is one of the strong, one of the people who follows Iris. He's a big tough old guy. Like middle-aged, and he would go with Iris to like go do their thing in the desert right now, but he got injured recently, and so he's recovering in a tent next to Susuo's where like the injured people are. And so he has like, if you convince him to help you, he's basically about healed now. But if you can convince him to like give you some tips, then he can roll instruction to help you.
Okay, so we're roll persuasion then.
Yeah. So I mean, what is this guy's name? You said.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something. I feel like Vince.
Vince.
like,
yep. Yeah.
like
so Vince, he has he's bald. He has a scar through his eye. Classic Anakin scar. Yeah, he's a big big muscular dude. He's like tall but also like really really wide. He's just kind of sitting, he's smoking from a pipe as he like sits on like a crate outside of Susuo's tent, and he's just like chilling there. And you notice him when you walk out of Susuo's tent, right? And you're like, oh wow, that's a guy that like he could teach me things about brawling, like, because that's what his thing was, and when he was a gladiator. You guys probably okay, so you tell me, did you guys fight together in the gladiatorial pit, or did you fight against each other in the gladiatorial pit?
Probably with each other. But like, I feel like,
what did you fight together? You probably had like 1 or 2 matches. What was the most like prominent thing you ever fought together?
Maybe a reenactment of a battle.
Right. So a reenactment of a famous battle that, yeah, for sure. And you two played like the two like important hero. Like you were like the prince of the story, right? Like the warrior prince of this ancient tale.
I think he didn't like me because I was like enjoying it too much.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like, like people liked me, so like that's how I like won my.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like it was all about survival for him, right? Like he was just there to survive another day.
Yeah, he just didn't like my cockiness, because like
yeah.
Obviously being a gladiator, like you win the crowd over. Like I said, that I was like, you win the crowd, you basically get your way out, like in the movie Gladiator. That's what it was. And so I used that. I wasn't really cocky. I was just playing a role because the crowd liked it.
Yeah,
trying to get them to like me. That's a good for my case. And they liked me, didn't like him as much, not because he was a bad guy, but because he wasn't trying as hard as I was. And so he just didn't like me, like, oh, that guy's cocky. But it was just an act, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's sitting there smoking his pipe, and he looks up at you, and you guys stare at each other for a second, and he says, What are you doing around these parts, Theo? I thought you were in the city.
I was. But I had some matters I had to deal with.
Ah, I see. And he like looks at Susuo's tent like, right.
She's a friend. Listen, I didn't come here to...
I'm sorry, I just made a joke.
Vince, I didn't come here to cause a problem. I came here and he kind of like, just like,
Too late.
Kind of angry about it.
Too late. You looked at me. There's enough problem right there.
I know we had our troubles in the past. Vince, I need your help.
Had our troubles in the past?
If you wouldn't have sided with Iris, listen, he's a kid. He doesn't know better.
You think I buy any of this hubbaloo about the Great Spirit and all that nonsense? No, I'm just here because I survive. I'm a survivor. Chaos, Theo. I'm a survivor. That's what they teach you in the pits. They teach you to survive. And Iris is my best chance of survival out here in this flame-cursed desert.
You in any sort of favor for me, could you at least give me some tips?
He just raises an eyebrow like very high. Some tips. On what? How to pick up the ladies?
Since you and I both know you were always a better fighter. Always a better brawler.
You're
stronger.
He takes the pipe out of his mouth, like, just kind of like leans back, is like, I never thought I'd hear the day.
Yeah, he's just kind of like angry about it, but he's saying it because he's telling the truth. He knows that he's a better fighter, and he's feeding his.
So what you're doing right now is you're doing soothing platitudes.
That's actually a thing.
It is a thing. Yeah.
What? Oh. But I mean, I'm telling the truth. He's just kind of like.
So this is the thing, right? Like, you can. This is an option you have. If you want to make a linked test right now, to do soothing platitudes, which I know you don't have, but it's based on will. So you might not completely fail. I think it will just be an odd one. If you don't fail it, then you'll get a +1 die on your persuasion roll to convince him to help you. You don't have to do it, but that's an option open to you.
Yeah, sure.
So it's based on will.
What's it called?
Soothing platitudes.
Why did it go to 10? My will is 10?
No. I'm not sure.
It says for some reason it went to 10. I didn't even type anything in. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
I was like, what?
Yeah. So go ahead and roll that ob 1.
More important, and all is happening either way.
What? How did I fail? Wait. Oh, it's doubled. Never mind. How does wounds affect that?
Wounds affect basically everything except for like resources and circles and stuff. Yeah, so your head is throbbing, right? And you're not saying this with the most genuineness that you could.
I mean, he could just be like accepting it, but it doesn't help my case. Like he's like, no. Or I mean, I can still roll persuasion, right?
Yeah. That was just a link test, right? So he just like, I already knew that, Theo. What's in it for me?
I guess if that was all.
What do you want?
Either way.
What do I want? Well, things that can help me survive, Theo.
I have hair dye in the voice and my permanent.
What color is it?
And he kind of like looks at you, like kind of holds out a hand, like hands like these. They're best filled with coins, don't you say?
In the summer with your tan skin. Oh, you look
I could give him money. I have money, right?
So let's see. You have if you don't have like cash
Resources,
die
right?
on
It'd be
you,
resources, right?
it would be resources. So you would do have resources of 1. You could roll to produce cash die. You could produce like a thing of cash. Let's see how much that would be before you decide to do it. How much of a roll that would be. Let's see. You want to make cash.
Girl, who are you?
It's an ob2 test to generate 1d of cash. Unfortunately, you have a resources of 1. So.
Oh.
Wait, what?
So it's an ob2 resources test to produce a thing of cash. You have resources of 1 though, so it's functionally impossible unless you wanted to spend Arth on it.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. So
You could like just promise to get him money, right?
okay, yeah, I can do that.
And so you can make the persuasion test, and then if you succeed, right, like he'll expect you to eventually get him some cash for this. So yeah, you can make the persuasion test if you want to.
Okay. So Ob, what did you say Ob was? I don't know.
I think the ob is for this is going to be 5.
Ugh.
So you can add oratory because you're a natural speaker. You can add command if you want to, because you're technically his superior officer. As Forks, you can add. If you want to make some sort of point about the arena, about
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, could I use that? Like, if it like I thought we were supposed to stick together, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So how many would that be?
The best way we can survive is together, right? Like.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that would be you get 3 dice altogether as modifiers for this against up 5.
So based on
Persuasion.
5.
Base up 5, yeah.
Oh, I did it.
Nice. And that was a difficult test too, so good job.
Nice. Wait, for persuasion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. All right, yeah.
Is that really challenging, or is that just a mark thing?
That's difficult. And so I went ahead and put the bubble on persuasion for you.
No, I know, but I have 1 bubble. Is that just the extra one thing?
Oh, on challenging? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It always does that. So just ignore that because there's no skill that you would ever need more than 3 challenging tests to upgrade. So that's why that's there. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. So he looks at you and he says, "Maybe I could show you a thing or 2, but it's gonna cost you, Theo. Promise you that. It's going to cost you." And the intent, the assumption is that you will eventually get him 1d of cash. So you'll have to maybe go talk to Antonius about like, hey, can I have my pay early this month or whatever.
But yeah, so next 3 payments right now.
Yeah, so he's gonna go ahead and roll instruction here to teach you this skill. Or teach you get another test in brawling. I think it's gonna be an ob 2. Yep, there you go. So you get let's see, a difficult test in brawling. So he teaches you over the next several days, and I think that's probably a good place to kind of start wrapping up, right? You're training, you're doing the Rocky montage, and you basically kind of gotten through a lot of your beliefs and stuff, or at least working on them. So go ahead and look at those. And
wait, I got it. That was difficult.
Yeah, it was difficult. Yeah. So I already
what did I get for fighting that one dude.
What one, dude?
Remember the dude where I tried to fight
Harver?
him? Yeah, wouldn't they have-
I don't know.
because that was a pretty hard thing. It was like a ob 6 or something.
It was, wasn't it? Maybe you just forgot to mark it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fine with giving you another difficult
Okay.
bubble. So there you go. You know what? You also got you upgraded your circles.
Oh yeah, I did use that like 3 times
Mm-hmm.
or something like that.
Track of this here, so you have 3 circles now. So, and that's good.
Yeah, I have 1 in ritual.
Yeah, I went ahead. I've been marking them as we go. So.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So your beliefs and stuff. So I won't let that goat herder show me up. I will become better than him and show him what happens when you cross me. So you're working towards that. That's a fate. I don't like the gods, but I can use them. I will gain enough religious knowledge to please the goddess. Well, you haven't done that yet, but you are working towards it. So it's another fate. And then I am intrigued by the Lady in White. I will find out her reasons for joining the Crow Inquisitors. You never actually got around to asking her that question, but you were trying. You were awkward. And
Yeah.
so you can get a fate on that too. So
Well, I thought. Wait, the
You
beliefs
never-
were if you did, and then
What?
the instinct were if they got you in trouble.
yeah, beliefs is if you completed them, you get a persona. If you work towards them, you get fate. Instincts, if they got you in trouble, then you would get fate for them. So good things don't happen easily. Suspect everything. I don't really think you got into trouble a whole lot this session, really. Never
No.
heed danger. Yeah, I mean, there was maybe times you could have done something, but okay, attractive, empathetic, determined. Let's see if there's any of these that. Yeah, I don't think any of those would have got you in trouble at all. So.
Okay, I just
Mm-hmm.
how do you use this again? The life is death one.
So
The trait.
life is death. I believe that. Let's see.
It said like reduce.
It reduces
reduce
your
injury
obstacle
by-
for hesitation for like seal tests for injury and pain by 2.
That was a steel test. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Use that. Like whenever it comes up, I forget
Yeah.
when to use that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's look at the rest. Let's see the ways you can earn Artha. If there's any other things that happen here. Was there an in-character game stopper humor moment for Theo? Did Theo in character make us laugh really hard?
I mean, not really hard, but
Yeah, I don't think there was a specific moment that really stands out. Let's see. Did you have the right skill at the right time to make the story go? I don't think so. There wasn't like a specific moment where like you had the perfect skill. I'll definitely give. I want to give you a persona for really good and distinctive role playing. I mean, you always do a fantastic job at role playing Theo, and having him be super like the conversation with the matriarch, I think, was one of my favorite parts of the session. About talking about faith and having that conversation.
Mhm.
So that was fun. So yeah, you get one of those 6 persona you spent this session back.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hey, it was for a good cause.
Hey, and that's the thing, right? Like, Fate and Persona don't just go into a vacuum. They get spent on things, and so you have three Persona on Oratory. You have 3 Persona on Will right now, and you have 1 Fate on Will. And so, like, eventually, when you rack those up, you can use them to gratiate things. So that's the thing.
Wait, if I use persona on things, I can gratiate stuff?
Oh yeah, did you not know that? Have you not been
No.
keeping track of that as we have been going?
I mean, I haven't used very many persona.
That's true.
I used most faith this game. I usually don't use fate. So
I'm sure you've done. Here, I might go back, like in a couple days or something like that, and just like go through all of the rolls that you've made and seen if you've been spending anything, and see if there's anything you might have missed. Because yeah, that's one of the most important parts about Burning Wheel is that you spend them on the F, P, and D bubbles next to all the skills and stats and stuff like that. That's where all the fate and persona and deeds you've spent on skills go. And once you've spent a certain amount, you can use it to gray shade a Satyr skill.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, there you go. That was Crow Inquisitors.
How do you check the deeds in Persona again? At the middle or something?
What do you mean? Oh, where like how many you have?
I found it.
Yeah.
Do I have 0 deeds, really?
Yeah, you haven't done anything yet. To be honest, I actually think I'm gonna nominate for you for a deeds point. Not for this session, but for the last session last session that you were in. I didn't really think about this at the time, but you decided to let your wife go.
Oh yeah, that is true.
That's a major turning point for Theo.
Yeah, I never even thought about that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either. I'm gonna give you a D's point. I think that's worth a D's point. That's been a major driving point of your character for most of the campaign. So
Sweet.
there you go. 1 D's point for Theo. And so like you have to the spending Artha section right there. You see where it says minor epiphany and epiphany. So if you've spent 5 fate, 3 persona, and 1 deeds on any skill or stat, you can temporarily shade shift it for 1 scene. And if you spent 20 fate, 10 persona, and 3 deeds on a stat or skill, you could permanently shade shift.
What do shades do again?
So if you have a gray shade, then you get a success when you get 3, 4, 5, or 6 on a die, not just 4, 5, or 6.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So
wait, I forget when you roll something, it counts how many successes you got, right?
It counts how many successes you got. So for that persuasion test, for example,
you have a way better chance.
You rolled 7 dice, and you got 1, 4, 2, 5, 4, 5, 4. And so the only ones that weren't successes were the 1 and 2 because it wasn't a 4, 5, or 6. So if you shade shifted, then not only 4, 5, and 6, but also 3 would count as a success.
Oh, so you have a way better chance. That's cool.
And then if you somehow manage to get 40 fate, 20 persona, and 60 on something like it, then you could shade shift it again permanently, and then it would make it a white shade, which would be 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Which
so basically, you almost
only on a 1 you would fail. You would not get a success.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. That is Crow Inquisitors.
So here's my
Theo side story. Learned a little bit more about Theo. We'll make some tick.
range.
All right, that was a good session. I like that.
Yeah, that was fun. I always like Theo's stuff, so that was fun. All right, well, it's good spending some time with you, my friend. Nice to see you. Nice to hang out. Nice to play some role-playing games with you. And yeah, that was fun.
All right.
All right, adios.
See you later, man.
Bye.